Mark, let me know whenever we have to start.
Okay. I'm gonna wait one more minute because it's just 2:01. We'll give people
Okay. All right.
a short a little bit of lag. So, so I want to welcome everybody to today's Topics in Tech. I'm Mark Friedenberg, the director of the CIS Sandbox. I'm thrilled to welcome back Himanshi Arora, who was a tutor in the CIS Sandbox just a couple years ago. And she's going to talk with us today about her career as a software developer, software engineering at Yahoo. We'll have time for her presentation. After that, we'll take some time for questions. And I will also, at the end of the talk, share a QR code that you'll need to fill out for attendance so your teachers know that you were here. This talk is being recorded. So welcome and welcome back, Himanshi.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Mark. I'm very, very excited to come here and present my work, my career on the other side. So very excited. Thanks much. All right. Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Himanshi. I'm a product engineer at Yahoo currently. Today we are going to talk about what does that exactly mean. So that is what does it mean to be a product engineer, not just in terms of coding, but also in terms of impact that we are creating at Yahoo or as a product engineer by building the products. Um, Okay. Before we get started, a little bit about me. I am born and raised in India. I did my master's in information technology from Bentley University itself. Like Mark said, I was a tutor and in at that time, and I really enjoyed my work at in the CIS sandbox. It was definitely a place which I used to look forward to. That those 20 hours were like really beneficial for me to basically make me a better person. So thanks, Matt, for this great initiative and helping us as a tutor as well in realizing our potential. Um, okay, and in terms of my career, I have developed products at Expedia, WeWork, and Intuit. And most recently, I'm working as a senior software engineer slash product engineer at Yahoo. Um, I am now a proud mother of 5-month-old baby Kabir and a 6-month-old Labrador Phoebe. Um, I am passionate about home decor and running. I'm not doing any of that off lately because my whole time is dedicated to my poor 5-month-old baby right now. Um, but that's it about me. Um, all right, let's move on. Um, Before we start the actual presentation, I want to talk about something. I just want you all to type in the chat box about how many daily users you think Yahoo products reportedly have on a on a day-to-day basis. What do you think? How many daily users Yahoo get? Whatever you think, please type in the chat box. 1 million, 6 million, 10,000. Okay. All right. 10, 2 million, 20 million, 100 million. Okay. Um, okay. Okay. Many people think that's in million. Um, we are serving 1 billion daily users at the time. So I'm not just talking about Yahoo's one particular product. I'm talking about Yahoo's whole suite, Yahoo Finance, Yahoo Sports, Yahoo Mail, News, everything together serve 1 billion users currently. That's a huge scale for us. Okay, let's start the presentation and actually talk about what does it mean? What is a product engineer? What do we do? Um, what does it mean to be a product engineer in a sense? Um, so
Did you
I
plan to
assume
share your
everyone.
screen? Did you
Do you
plan to
not
share
share
your
my
screen?
screen?
No, it's not.
Okay, let me reshare that.
Thanks. Sorry for interrupting.
Do you
There
see
we
my
go.
screen now? Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that. I didn't know that I wasn't sharing my screen at all. Okay. So where were we? Let's talk about what is a product engineer. I assume all of you use email, and off lately you might have started seeing some pop-ups around your next order, that your next order is arriving tomorrow, or or a pop-up about your flight details saying that your flight is tomorrow, or what is the schedule of your flight, where it is flying from, etc., etc. Um, that's the magic that we as a product engineer in my team are creating. We are working right now on building or extracting the information from email and presenting it to our users. Um, and that essentially, I would say, is the work of a product engineer today. We are not just the code wizards. We just don't sit and code the whole day. We think about product as a whole as well. We basically think about the impact. We basically think about the scale and what our users need. So that is kind of the magic that we are creating with millions of users every single day. I generally say that we are the real world, we solve the real world challenges like superheroes in lab code. Um, that's what a product engineer is. Okay. So what do we do? We understand what is a product engineering, but what do we essentially do? What does it comprise? What does it take to be a product engineer? So product engineer essentially has three pillars. Um, sorry. So product engineer essentially has three pillars that I would like to define. Um, Technology, product, and user. Technology is basically the coding part that we all know. We think that in when we think of a product engineer, we think about someone coding, sitting in front of the laptop and doing the code every day. So this part definitely is it's one of the components of a product engineer. We take full responsibility for technical delivery end to end, um, whether it comprises of uh, like writing code in any language, whether it implies learning new things, learning to build new pipelines. We would go there, learn that, and build that. Um, so that's the part that's important. And when I say that we take full responsibility, I really mean it. We are not just um, writing. We are not just delivering the task. We are responsible for the success of those tasks or success of that feature or creating that impact as well. Um, the second part is product. We have to wear the product hat day in, day out. Um, it doesn't mean that we have to be product managers. It means that we have to collaborate with product managers. We have to collaborate with the designers um, to make our product. We have to collaborate with data team to get the structured data from unstructured one, to connect with ML engineers or ML team to connect with infrastructure team. The whole product suite is something we connect with in order to deliver the product. And the third thing is users itself. We have to wear the user's hat as well, because those are the ones we are creating the product for. We create the product for them, we enhance for them, and we maintain the product just for them. So it's very critical for us to understand their need, their requirement, and then build on top of that. Let me give you a quick example of like how it looks like uh, how it looks like when someone comes up with a requirement. So For example, a product manager would come to you and would say, okay, Himanshi, increase the user, we want to increase user interaction on our website or on our mail product. I'm talking about mail product because I currently work on mail product right now. So they might come and they say, we want to increase the interaction. So that's very vague, right? What does that mean? The first question you would ask a product is why? Why do you want to do that? Possibly to increase the revenue. Um, Mostly that is the case. And a second one is to increase the retention, which in turn would increase the revenue. So you would go ahead and have a meeting, or you would generally be the one who would be planning a meeting with the whole product suite. So you would have your product manager, your designers, your data team, and infrastructure team, everyone coming together in the same platform. And you would do a whiteboarding session with them, and you would come up with a solution to increase the retention of a user on your platform. Now, increasing retention could mean that you are adding something like adding a planner on your calendar, or adding a summary page on top of your uh, e- email inbox. Uh, the next step would be to figuring out whether that would create an impact or not, whether that would generate the output that you wanted or not. Like, for example, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened there. Um, okay, let's resume. So the next thing is to make sure that you measure the impact, you measure the output. So you would create dashboards for them. You would create the before and after numbers of revenue for that. So all of those things that I'm talking about, those involve product and users at the center of everything. And tech, the coding part, is just a liaison between the two. Users is what you're working for, and product is what you're working on. But tech is just the one which is a glue between the two, which is essentially delivering what user want. Okay, so what does a typical day for a product engineer look like? It may it no 2 days are really same for us. It's very different. One day is different for other, but in general, there are some common components around or common work things that we have to do on a day-to-day basis. Um, for example, I might have my morning starting with the stand up. By stand up, I mean a team sync where we would be syncing as a team and talking about what we are working on, what are the impediments we have, if anything is blocking us or not. Then moving ahead, I might start doing my day-to-day activity, which is like feature coding or doing some testing. In the afternoon, uh, I might have some collaboration or design discussions. We'll talk about what design discussions essentially is in next few slides. Um, but I might have my collaboration sessions with the product manager or designers, or design system design discussions with my principal or architect. And in the evening, I might have the production issue that I need to resolve. Anything, all these things can happen in any way. One day I might just spend the whole day debugging my production issue. The other day I might spend a lot of time doing just the coding. So no 2 days are very same for us. Uh, it depends upon the task and the priority of the task. For example, if a production issue has come up, that takes up the priority over everything else. You have to stop working your day-to-day task and have to first fix the production issue. And then you move on to the rest of your day with your day-to-day task. All right, that brings me to another interesting question. What do you think is the percentage of a product engineer's day which is spent writing coding? Please type that in chat section again. 50% B, C. Okay. It may not be B or C, it may be something else. So whatever percentage you think, you can type that as well. None of these. And may I know what do you mean by none of these? Probably less. Okay. Trick question. Yes, that is definitely a trick question. So like I said, no 2 days are same. Someday I might be coding 50%, someday I might be coding 30%, someday I might not code at all. But on an average, we spend 50% of the time coding, 50% of the time, like as a senior engineer, I'm saying that I'm spending 50% of the time coding, 50% of the time will be spent in production issues, in doing testing, in solving the in doing the design discussions. As you as your impact increases, the coding gets lesser. So the architect might not be coding at all. They are in meetings doing design discussion literally the whole day. Um, so yeah, there is no right or wrong answer. It depends upon the day as well. But overall, I would just say that it totally depend upon like the the end goal is essentially to create an impact. Um, to to not think of a product engineer just as a like a as someone who's writing code, but someone who is doing more than that, who is thinking about the products. Like think about things like Uber, DoorDash, Yahoo Mail, Gmail, etc. All these things are products, and the product engineers are essentially the mastermind behind that. They are the one who think and build at the same time. Um, so, what are the different skills that are needed to be for a product engineer, essentially? There are three pillars. Again, there are three skills that we need um, as a product engineer. Um, Technical skills must. You need to have a proficiency in coding. You need to have system design knowledge. And if you are working on things like email, the part that I am working on, you might need something like the knowledge of data pipelines as well. But that comes into picture once you join the team. You don't have to have that knowledge beforehand. That comes when you are into the system. Um, but essentially, coding and system design, you need to know like how your system is designed. What are the trade-offs that you're taking when you're designing a system? Those are must. Product thinking, like I mentioned, understanding user needs and their preferences, understanding what they want is a must. Third important thing, which most of the people just ignore, is like good collaboration skill. On a day-to-day basis, we collaborate with so many different teams. We collaborate with infrastructure team, we collaborate with ML team, we collaborate with the, like I said, design team, product team. Occasionally, we also interact with legal team when we have to deal with the data privacy and stuff like that. So we do a networking team, um, production team. So there's a lot more that we have to interact with. So effective communication and a teamwork along with that is must. In your team, it's you're building one part of the system. The other one is building the other part of the system. So you need to know what the other person is doing and how it is impacting your thing as well in order to deliver the best product out and bug free as well. So you need to have that teamwork aspect as a skill to be an engineer there. Nothing comes without challenges. And so does the role of a product engineer. This role comes with many, many challenges. And um, like uh, when we are talking about challenges, I think of the challenges like scale. We are serving millions or billions of users at a time. So scale is always on our mind. How how are we going to scale a product? And for that, you have to find out the right balance between latency, accuracy, reliability. I'll give you an example from my personal, very recent experience. So my team essentially is, like I said, is building the uh, the the insight card that you see on top of your mailbox. Um, so what a user generally expect is they want the insight to be shown to them instantly as they open the mailbox or as they open the particular mail, depending upon where we are showing the insight. Um, we were facing with the latency issue. Um, uh, we have a pipeline on our we have a pipeline which we run, which basically extract the information, massage the information, and send it across in a formatted manner that you see. And that pipeline has many, many components to it. Um, and that pipeline sometimes is slow because it's serving millions of emails at a time. It's processing through millions of emails at a time, so it does get slow. So the thing that we wanted to solve was to decrease the latency, but not at the cost of any accuracy. We wanted to have a decent load time. At the same time, we want to surface the accurate result in front of our users. So what we end up doing, that was essentially the challenge. What we end up doing was, or how we fixed it was, we did a bunch of things like we started caching the information. We started doing some asynchronous tasks. We started doing some tasks parallelly, or we started surfacing the result early on, and we added more result on top of that, so that some of the information is surfaced to user early on as soon as they open the mailbox, and then rest of the information which is taking time can come later. um, so this way we decreased the latency, as well as the accuracy was not compromised so much. Caching does compromise a little bit of accuracy, but it wasn't as bad. So so what I essentially want to say with this challenge is that we made a trade-off. We made a trade-off of finding a balance between latency and accuracy, by compromising a little bit of accuracy, and also uh, not showing all the information to users upfront, showing a little bit of information and then rest of the information flows in. So, but that doesn't mean we but that essentially mean that we are solving the problem that is needed, and we are making trade-offs for that. So that is a very important skill as well that you need. And and for that thing, you need to understand your system very well. For that, this is where the system design and design discussions comes into picture. You essentially talk to your principal or architect about how you want to solve a particular problem, come up with a solution, and go ahead and solve that. Next set of problem that challenge that we face in our role is handling the ambiguous task. Most of the tasks that we get are very ambiguous. They have ambiguity to it. We don't know much of the details around it. It's not uh, like writing the simple algorithmic co- code that we do. But that's the later part. Writing algorithm is the later part. Finding out that we have to write, finding out that we have to write an algorithm and which algorithm we have to write is the ambiguity that we have to solve. So finding the correct words for our problem by collaborating with different teams um, is another challenge that we face. All right. Before we end this, I want to talk about like what is how to basically become a product engineer. Um, if you want to get into product engineering, these are few of my suggestions. Um, the first and foremost and important suggestion is to start building some real world projects. Start thinking about some problems that you see and solve those. I'll give you an example that I recently did. Um, I um, I had a hard time reading the healthcare um, data, my healthcare data, because it comes in so many papers from so many different places that it was at some point hard for me to understand what comes from where and what does it mean. Somewhere um, from one test I'm getting one result, from another blood test I'm getting another result. So I actually interacted. I created a small system, a small project where I can read this all these information by scanning the document, and then I can get a meaningful insight from the document that I have, and potentially the next step that I have to take. So those are some of that is one of the examples that I'm telling you. But you can have some other problem in your mind that you can solve. Start writing the user challenges that we have right now with respect to your problem statement, and then solve for that. Understand your user very well, first of all. Know which user segment you want to solve the problem for. That's very important. The next thing is having a good knowledge of system design and architecture. Um, Having good coding skills, of course, that comes without saying, but having a good system design and architecture knowledge, knowing the trade-offs of using one solution over another. There are many ways to do that. Essentially, for example, if you want to, there are white papers by big companies that you can go ahead and read. Google, Amazon, Airbnb, they always come up with a document that you can go and read. Their white paper are really very exhaustive, and you can learn a lot from them. And the third thing is start looking for a hands-on experience, be it via internship or be it via any project that you want to do. Um, yeah, that's all from my side. Now I will stop here and open the floor for any questions that you might have.
Whoops. Okay, cool. Thank you, Himanshi, for telling us about how your career as a product engineer has evolved. Let's take some questions from folks on Zoom, and we'll take a few minutes for that, and then I will give you your attendance QR code. I'm not seeing any hands, and no one is unmuted. So let me ask you a question.
Mhm.
Uh, type for the people who are on listening in on us, please type into chat one aspect of Himanshi's job as she's described it that you think you might be good at. What part of her job that she described that she does do you think is most interesting to you or would you be good at? I'm curious to see how how you can relate to her experience to what your own is. So take a minute and type that into chat.
That's a very good thing, Jack. Everyone would love to have someone who has good communication skills and good teamwork. Collaboration, definitely needed in this job. Daniel, yep. Yeah, if you can do that, um, that's awesome. I mean, thinking from a product perspective, uh, creating design, that's a great skill indeed. Adaptability, Erica.
Understanding the impact of your work. How do you do that, Dan? That's a great point.
Mm.
How can you understand the impact of your work? Feel free to, I mean,
Well,
I'm
there,
curious.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
So I think understanding the impact of my work and especially how I'm not sure how you said it, is that being a product engineer isn't just coding, it's really understanding, the users and what they want and what they need. And I think that's how I can relate and understanding the impact of my work. Especially what I try to do is I try to make sure that I know what my work is going to be doing in the real world and in the long term. And I think that's closely relates to being a product engineer.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm looking, Mary Mellor wrote partnership. What were you thinking about that?
I think partnership is needed in every area in order to complete everything.
Is partnership different from collaboration? I saw a number of other people wrote collaboration.
It may be similar.
Good. Yeah, Emma wrote down a collaboration. What were you thinking when you said that, Emma? Uh, Product design from the user's perspective, building user personas and finding their needs. Nathaniel, can you tell us what a user persona is?
Yeah. It's just understanding what different users might be of your application and then understanding what their goals are to have with your app and
Why is it
all of the
important?
things that drive them to use your product because it's important that you work specifically on what the user needs, not what you as a product designer might think is cool or you as a I mean you specifically you might be interacting with people who have no idea what software development even is because you're sending emails to whoever. So you have to understand what even the most basic email user might need in their product as opposed to someone who's advanced with computer technology.
Himanshi, is that on target?
say that again, Mark.
Is that on target?
Um, uh, Sort of, yes. It's very important to understand users' need and not talk about the things that they don't understand. But the point essentially is how would you come up with how would you figure out those requirements? You can create the designs, but how would you validate those?
Thank
That's
you.
more of a
So,
question or
Sure, go ahead.
it's a challenge of validating. It's like interviewing, paneling, taking surveys and getting like real world data on your users, kind of
yeah,
understanding what their goals are from their Yahoo email inbox, sending
yeah.
messages, drafts, stuff like that.
Right. We generally call that prototyping. So what we generally do, and that's essentially a product designer does that. So what we generally do is we come up with a prototype. We find out our target audience. Um, and from that target different segments of target audience essentially, and we work with those segments of audience, some people from those segments. We collaborate with them, show them our prototype, bring them in a meeting, uh, and ask them questions like, what do you think about it? How will you use it? Will you even use it or not? What else do you need on top of this? And that's how we interact with them, understand their requirement. And sometimes our product are evolved solely from that basis. Sometimes they will give you the requirements that you would not have thought yourself. And that sometimes comes as a new product or new feature altogether as well. So definitely talking to them gives a plethora of information about the user need.
We have time for one more question maybe, and then we'll move on to wrapping up. I'm going to put in chat the link or the QR code for today's attendance survey. Feel free to complete that at your before you go. And if anyone else has a question, we'll take a minute to add that in. Free to ask it now. Having heard none,
No
I think
question.
we'll stop here. Himanshi, it's great to see you. Thank you very much for being here with us today.
Thanks,
And
Mark.
we'll stop recording, but we'll keep we'll stay on for a couple of minutes